My name is Adam Kaplan. Welcome to the Emotional Scale Mapping Sessions. These assessments will help map your emotional position on the emotional scale. So are you ready to find out what your real emotional state is? This is vital for a salesperson or anybody involved with customer service or any personal development. In a minute, you will do an exercise that will accurately and effectively plot how you really feel. It will give you an accurate report on your current emotional state and an indication of how you want to feel in the future. It uses the graduated emotional scale to assess your emotional state over a number of different topics, and it runs from apathy all the way up to euphoria. Sometimes it takes a bit of courage to do this truthfully because we like to kid ourselves that we're okay. Sometimes, if we're not okay, we might have a tendency to avoid looking at ourselves too closely in case we don't like what we see. This can be extremely counterproductive due to the amount of effort required by our subconscious to suppress our true feelings. Releasing our true emotions and freeing up the effort of suppressing them will, in the long run, improve our ability to cope with life and help us become more happy. Nevertheless, it's something you have to do if you wish to achieve a greater level of overall happiness and effectiveness in your life. So the very first step of developing your emotional state is to find out where you are at the moment. This gives you a starting point. So my emotional scale mapping, or ESM for short, will help you do that. So there are 10 parts to the emotional scale mapping. Each heading covers a different domain of your life. For example, we start off with self, we go on to others, we look at your skills, your goals, your trust, your consciousness, your needs and wants, understanding, your communication skills, and how you feel about your future. And there will be 21 different phrases listed under each domain question. Each heading indicates a certain sphere of your existence, but each phrase is for how you feel about that particular heading. For example, in the domain of self, if you felt very bitter towards yourself, you'd circle that statement. However, if you were angry with yourself, you'd circle that statement. And what this does is it plots how you feel about different areas of your life now. In other words, in the present. Don't try and beat the ESM because what you'll be doing is cheating yourself and skewing the results. This can be a very effective way of finding out an incredible amount of information about your current emotional state very quickly. So when you see the heading, read through all the phrases and tick or click the radio button for each one or for the only one that is relevant to you. When you know which phrase you feel closest to, move on to the next heading. It's really important to complete the ESM on the basis of how you feel about any of the statements at this present time. Here, in the here and now, not how you want to think or how you think we think you should think, if that makes sense. So in this, the first of 4 emotional scale mapping sessions, make your judgments in accordance with your average standard state, ignoring any temporary influences on your mood, such as good or bad news. For example, if you'd found out that you'd won £100, you'd be happier than you would normally be, and vice versa, if you found that your car had been stolen, you'd be sadder than you would normally be. So try and put this in your standard frame of mind. When you finish the first emotional scale map, you move on to the second one, which is how you feel some of the time. So the first test will be for how you feel in the present moment most of the time. The second test will be for how you feel in the present moment some of the time. So most of the time you might feel bitter, and some of the time you might feel angry. In the first test you click on the bitter, and in the second you click on the angry. The first test is for how you feel most of the time at the moment, and the second one is for how you feel some of the time. And this allows you to plot your emotional state over the months, and you can see if you make improvements or how things change. If you've got any questions about how this works, please get in touch with USP, email support@uspcompliance.co.uk. Thank you for listening.